Grouping and regrouping in multilingual settings, primary language groups. How can I support students learning in their home language and connect it to their learning in English? In L1 grouping, students are grouped homogeneously by primary language. Native English speakers in English, Russian speakers in Russian, Spanish speakers in Spanish, etc. In all English programs, there may be no existing L1 groups for multilingual learners, but the opportunity to continue conceptual development through the home language is still important and can be supported and nourished, both by what you do in the classroom and how you connect with the community. As with integrated and second language groupings, we will examine the unique features of primary language groups. They include the opportunities students have when they are all fluent in the language of instruction for developing language proficiency, content knowledge, and intercultural competence. What students would miss if they were always grouped with native speakers using their home language. And finally, the most appropriate strategies to use in primary language groups to best meet the needs of the students. Native language groups where everyone, teachers and students, are fluent in the language of instruction are the easiest and most comfortable instructional setting. Currently, most teachers are prepared precisely to work in this setting. That is, native English-speaking teachers working with native English speakers in their native language. However, many classrooms have a mix of native language groups, which makes instruction more challenging. When students work in their home language, they can most readily access and deepen their conceptual understandings and background knowledge, and more easily connect background experiences to the content of the curriculum. Additionally, it is more likely that when teachers and students share a common language, they also share certain cultural understandings and experiences. Teachers can employ a wide variety of strategies to help students tap into their L1 to build understanding of academic content. You might think that primary or home language groups are ideal for both the teacher and the students. But if bilingualism is desirable for all students, then spending time only in the home language can also have negative consequences. For one, it will result in students remaining monolingual speakers of their home language. This is the case for most native English speakers in the U.S., who typically do not receive opportunities on a regular basis to be exposed to or become fluent in a language other than English. In addition, if students are always working in their first or home language with other first language speakers, they likely won't have many opportunities to interact with and learn from students who come from different cultural backgrounds. The Explore Activity 2 article, Information on Primary Language, goes into detail regarding the nature of home language groups in languages other than English. Teachers working with these groups have a lot of flexibility in their choice of strategies and materials. The focus should be on higher levels of abstraction and deepening students' understanding. We provide native English speakers primary or home language instruction nearly all of the time in either integrated or homogeneous groups. Bilingual learners rarely get to engage in L1 groups in school, with the exception of those in bilingual programs. But all bilingual learners can benefit from the opportunity of going deep into the concepts, even if just briefly, either in school or at home. Native language grouping for languages other than English is possible by creative planning and will increase students' potential for academic success. Creating a home language opportunity can be as simple as allowing students to turn and talk in their home language in integrated group discussions. Small group activities could be conducted by a parent, older students, or community volunteers in the classrooms. This could be reading stories aloud or sharing information about the topic of instruction. Many school districts have what are often called native language tutors, especially at the secondary level, to help students with their content studies. It is important that they know their job is conceptual development and not just getting a homework assignment completed. Another way to support primary language conceptual development is to have resources in languages other than English in your classroom. Resources are available even if you don't speak the languages of your students. The Explore handout titled Home Language Resources provides many suggestions of how and where to access materials in multiple languages. Start small. Even 1 or 2 books borrowed from the public library in students' languages sends the message that their language is important to their learning. Make sure all the students, including English speakers, get the message that being bilingual is a gift, and celebrate the use of languages other than English in and out of school. Your students' families are your allies in assuring their success in school. Reach out with the message that they should engage with their children in their strongest language. Anytime you find a resource, share it with them. Ask them to help you identify websites, books, and information on their home culture. In the Make It Work activities this week, you will have a chance to find or create resources to use with families. As you try things out, pay attention to how students respond, both academically, but also effectively. If you set the tone of celebration, students and their families will follow your lead.